Welcome back. Student loan forgiveness is one of the latest efforts by the Biden administration to offer relief to everyday Americans struggling under the current economic situation. Just last month, U.S. inflation hit 8.5%, and while fuel prices may be easing slightly, grocery costs are still up. This has more and more Americans turning to what we call side hustles just to make ends meet. An April survey from McKinsey & Company showed 36% of Americans surveyed who already had a job also identified as independent workers. That's a jump from 27% the company estimated back in 2016.
Well, as part of our Uncertain Economy series, we are talking to three people who have all joined the side hustle game.
That's right.
Alejandro Chavarria works as a bartender in downtown Miami. He's also a photographer, and some of his images he prints on T-shirts. Erin Welsh is going to law school and is a singer-songwriter and artist from Buffalo, New York. And Pamela Ortiz is a recent graduate and a makeup artist from New Jersey who also launched her own product line. Congratulations and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Great to have you here.
I was reading that the gig economy, the sort of the child of the gig economy, is now the side hustle economy. And so we're talking about people who have multiple jobs, and that's how they sort of cover their bills, right? So listen, Alejandro, I want to start with you. Tell me about sort of the evolution. You're working as a bartender in Miami, which is a really expensive place to live.
Absolutely.
And then how do you evolve into picking up these other side hustles?
Well, thankfully, I work at a bar that has some flexibility. They're only open for dinner time. So a lot of my downtime and my days off are spent working on my photography, trying to help out and expand my horizons and my audience. I reach out to people and I try to network as much as I can. I learn as much as I can online. And I just, try to get my products out there, and I talk to other local businesses, see if I can provide them any services.
So you enjoy photography.
Absolutely.
But then how did you graduate into printing your images on T-shirts and then selling them?
Yeah, that actually, I kind of fell into it. So one of my best friends at one of my new jobs when I was a teenager, I met him there. That restaurant was really supportive. It was a Kush hospitality group. They were super, super nice. They found out that I took photos and they wanted to put my stuff out there. I had a little tent, started selling photos, and I met a friend of mine. And he was really into fashion and design. So after that, he's like, hey, man, I love your photos. Could you maybe design something, put it on a shirt? And I was like, never tried it, but I'll learn. So
How'd
I
you
went
learn?
Online. Reddit, honestly.
Reddit?
Yeah, absolutely.
University of Reddit.
Yes.
And for Erin, you are going to law school, but you're also recently engaged, you're planning a wedding, and as we mentioned, you're a musician on the side. These all sound like really expensive things. How does just the cost of your endeavors factor into what you do and how you do it?
Well, definitely law school is a full-time job, and during the summer I had 2 legal internships, so those take up a massive amount of time. The nice thing about being a musician is you can work on the weekends. Most people hire live music Fridays and Saturdays. And even in something like a wedding, having an acoustic musician play during like a cocktail hour is really popular now. So snapping up those sorts of gigs are how you sort of make ends meet.
But that's a sacrifice as well when you talk about weekends, social time, and downtime.
Yeah, I've honestly missed a lot of law school events and parties and things like that because I was working. But, law school experience doesn't pay the bills.
Pamela, so you just graduated from a pre-med program, right? So you're not sure what direction you're going to take with that. But I don't even understand how you go to school and then develop a makeup line, because I know people who have done that, and it takes a lot of research.
Yeah, so I was pre-med at Pace. I actually started off my business because I broke out in hives one summer, and I was going to all these dermatologists, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And honestly, I was just like, let me just take matters into my own hands and just do it myself. I started mixing things up, then started mixing it up in my aunt's kitchen. And my friends were like, dude, you should just sell this. So that's how I started. And honestly, I just felt there was a demand for the products that I'm using now and making now. It wasn't so easy for me to get it in the stores. So I was just like, there's not these products available everywhere. People have sensitive skin and stuff. So I just was like, let me do it myself. And I want to become a dermatologist, actually. But I don't know how we're going to do that. We'll figure it out along the way.
The ambition is there.
Yeah.
What are some of the mistakes you guys made, some of the errors along the way? Because I mentioned influencers as we were teasing this, but I joke only that a lot of folks make this seem easy and glamorous and fun. You're all enjoying your interests, things that you actually are passionate about. But what would you caution people about when it comes to keeping their day job but also pursuing a side hustle. What's a mistake you made that you would kind of caution others not to make?
I would say is not listen to what other people are saying. That's literally don't listen to them. If I were
In
to
what
be
way?
okay, everyone is like, okay, I'm working full time as a medical assistant at a private practice right now, right?
Yeah.
People are saying, okay, you're doing that. Why are you doing makeup on the side? And why are you doing skincare? So much stuff at one. You're doing so much. And I'm like, I want to do it. This is what I want to do. I see a long-term goal. So I have to take the sacrifices. So, I have to make the sacrifices. So I was like, if I listen to everyone, it's just going to keep holding me back. I wanted to start this a long time ago, really when I was in high school, but I didn't have the means or everything or the resources. And I kept listening to all this outside noise. And then I got into college. It was during the pandemic. And I was like, everybody was like, oh, what are you doing? You're in school. You need to finish your degree. And I was like, dude, I'm just going to do it. So I just went and did it.
And you're doing both. I mean, you finished. You got your degree.
Yeah, I
And
got
you're
my
doing-
degree first gen.
Yeah.
And, I just started from there, just not listening to everyone.
I want to get the same answer to Errol's question about mistakes.
Sure. I would say my biggest problem when I was starting out was biting off more than I could chew. Honestly, it was really frustrating. I was learning as much as I could, and people were throwing opportunities. They were like, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you make me look like this model on this Instagram page?" And I was like,
You got a ton of those
You're like,
requests.
how do I not say no, but keep the
right.
client?
And I was like, and people were like willing to, offer me money for the service. And I was like, maybe, And I would try, and honestly, just if you're not ready to do it, if you're not comfortable, I would advise people trying to pursue a side hustle that requires a certain amount of skill to just work within, what they're comfortable working within. It's okay. Everybody starts somewhere. We don't all just get to that level where you can take those kinds of photos or make that product or what have
Or
you.
do whatever someone's
I
asking.
think it's very good advice because there's a tendency to feel like when an opportunity comes, you got to grab every single
Right.
opportunity, right? What about you, Erin?
No, exactly. I would say the main mistake I was making was undervaluing myself. And when you've been at it for a while and you have these skills, people are hiring you because they like what you're putting out there. So, charge what you think is appropriate. You can always negotiate down from there, but don't lowball people.
Tell me more about that. You said you were undervaluing yourself. How did you figure that out?
Yeah, I think because I would, go for every opportunity, but I started to get, so busy and thinking to myself, I'm going to all these gigs, but I'm not getting paid what I could be getting paid and what I know I could be getting paid because some of those other people are offering those higher prices. So, eventually I had to become a little bit more restrictive and say, this is what I'm worth, and I'm not going to accept less than that.
I'm curious about what drives you, right? Because all of your side hustles are very creative in ways that your kind of main gig, whether it's school or something else, your main gig is not that creative. So is the drive to continue working like this to be able to express yourself creatively, or is it about to get paid? Like you need to pay those bills. A couple of you got at least some student loans, I presume.
Oh, yeah.
It's honestly both. I enjoy every second of taking photos and, printing, getting messy with ink and things like that is a lot of fun to me. Making something that never existed before, it's fantastic. I love when people see their images or their shirts and they enjoy it. It is a little restrictive because I'm working under what somebody else wants. What I would like to do is eventually get comfortable and just do it on my own. Eventually, maybe get in the Guggenheim or something, that'd be the goal.
I love it.
I actually think being a law student and a lawyer and a legal intern is really creative. And I think the courtroom is very much like a theater, like a performance. And I think those skills from being a musician and standing up in front of people and, speaking and playing transfer really well to law school. So I'm glad that it's been able to work out that way.
I love that description because that is accurate. And our
it is
legal
very
analysts
accurate.
will say when some decisions come down that it's more art than science.
Yeah.
So that's a very good point. What are you all concerned about most, right, when it comes to maybe burnout or people reaching too far beyond what their skill set is? Are you concerned about other people? Are you concerned for yourselves at all?
Tarnished reputation, honestly, is something that I'm afraid of. It's like, say I take a job out of need, like I need to pay the bills. Miami's very expensive. The housing market is insane there. If I take jobs or something just to get a paycheck, it'll show, I feel, at least to me. And I don't, and I don't like to do that. Say something's rushed, say something I don't like the way that it looked. I would rather reshoot or I'd rather make the shirt again. But if I'm pressed for time and money, that's going to go out and I'm going to be unsatisfied with it because I don't have the manpower to make like that kind of a level that corporations have, you know?
You know, we've been talking an awful lot about like the side hustle economy. It used to be just a side hustle. Now it's kind of part of the economy. And I'm curious as to whether if you were offered a regular job, Monday to Friday, full time, kind of in the field that you enjoy, would you take it? Or has
If it meant losing the side hustle?
taste of side hustle made you think about what's possible out there?
I would take it.
Yes. But you want to be in the courtroom.
Yeah.
But you know, Pamela, what about you?
For me, honestly, I do want to become a doctor, but I want to become a different type of doctor, more creative and stuff. So I don't think I would want to take that 9 to 5 because I don't like being told what to do. I like the
Join the club.
I literally love the freedom and flexibility of just, if I don't like this product or I don't want to, like, you know, Alejandro was saying, if I don't want to deal with that certain client or something, that's not the vision that I want, I'm just going to say, you know, unfortunately, this doesn't align with my vision. I'll refer you to someone else. But I have that flexibility to do it because it's my company.
That's like the power of saying no that you guys were speaking about earlier. It's so great to speak with you all and hear your stories. Where can folks find you online if they need to? We'll just quickly go down.
You can find us on Instagram at Solo Para Ti LLC and on TikTok as well. And you can find me on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube.
Love it. And Erin,
You
what
can
about
find me on Facebook.com/Erin Sydney Welsh.
Book her for your weddings now. And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
And Alejandro?
You can find me on Instagram, Alejandro_Chavarria_photo, F-O-T-O, kind of a long one, sorry. Or you can find me bartending at Machialina on South Beach.
Show us your T-shirt. I know you brought in the prop. We got to
Here
go, but let's see it.
I do. I made this for Kush Hospitality Group. It's a little tank top. Pata Sucia Palooza.
Nice.
Very
cool.
Miami.
Very cool.
Got a lot of local bars on the back.
Well, thank you very much, Alejandro, Erin, Pamela. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So be sure to stay with us for all week and for more of our Uncertain Economy series. We will be right back.